very good morning to every one of you. One more time, we welcome each one of you through this telecast as we continue with our panel sessions. This particular morning, we are dealing with homeschooling. As we did last week also, we dealt with homeschooling, and I do believe that you were blessed. We want to further on our discussion this particular day and just dig a little bit deeper and just get to know further. Who is speaking to you is Ken Oyola, and it's my pleasure to be part of this team today, and it's going to be my pleasure also just to be able to be the moderator of this particular discussion today. We know where we stand currently, and the minister has actually added the number of days, and they've given us a particular date when they're hoping to open schools. I say hoping because I don't think it's that definite, but they're hoping to open the schools, and that means that at least we know for the next 1 month, we still have our children home. This COVID-19 has really pushed us to places we never thought we'd be. It's really taken us to places we really never thought, experiences we never thought we'd actually be experiencing. But here we are, and we know for the next 1 month at least, we are home with our children. So the challenge is to us, what do we do with our children in this time? What are we going to do with them in this season? Some of us have been trying the level best we can, giving them homework. Some of them have given them, actually we took this opportunity to make them good managers in the house. We're teaching them how to wash dishes and wash the car when you come in, brush shoes and other things. But you get to discover that there's another part of their life that they need to be going on with, which more probably took a comma. For some of them, it looked like a full stop. Some of them, they were jubilating over this season, whatever happened. But you're realizing that, you know what, we've got to get them back to the system, because if in a month's time they're going back, at least they need to sharpen their brains again or something. But some of you have actually been engaging them in their studies and trying to challenge them to do some 1 or 2, 3 things here while you sit around and try and think about what to do. And I love the way I'm hearing parents talking about they've learned how to bake, they've learned how to make ugali in a new way, they've learned how to do many things. But have you taken the challenge to make sure that your kid is also learning and still continuing in the way they expect to be doing? So this particular day, we're going to take some time in your house, and thank you for welcoming us. We're going to just take some time and just discuss some of these things to see how that our children can be kept on the edge, keep them on the edge in terms of their studies, keep them on the edge in terms of not losing out what they had already learned, and also probably just not just being stagnant where they were in terms of when this COVID-19 came in, but are able to proceed on beyond where they were, so that by the time they go back to school, they are able to be at least somewhere. The teachers shouldn't have a very difficult time jump-starting them. I know some will be jump-started because their battery will have gone low completely, but at least your kid should not be part of those who are being jump-started again, so that they just come in and flow, or rather just pick up with what is going on and continue their studies depending on how long the term shall be. And so today, on my immediate left, we have Grace, and then we also have, who is a parent doing homeschooling. Then we have teacher Ronald Mulira, who is a teacher. And then we have Gloria Salano, who is a parent with students in high school and primary school. So today, I do believe that mix is going to be able to help us in every capacity where we are in, so that we can be able to minister to you today and just be able to help each and every one of us. This particular moment, I'm just going to give them a brief moment, just they can give us an intro about themselves and a little bit of a background about themselves. Then we'll proceed on from there. So let's start from my immediate left.
Good morning. My name is Grace Mutunga. I am married with 5 children, homeschooling our children for the last 2 years, this being our 3rd year. And 3 of them are enrolled in homeschool. Yeah, and that's our journey has been up till thus far.
Thank you. Let's welcome Teacher Ronald.
Good morning. I'm Teacher Ronald Murela. I teach a practical school. I'm a parent too. I have 3 kids. I'm married. I have a child in Form 1, class 6, and grade 3. So when it comes to homeschooling, at least we have some idea. Thank you.
Thank you, Teacher Ronald. Let's go to our parent, Gloria.
My name is Gloria Salano. I am married. I am a parent of 3 children, all teenagers at the moment. And we said bye-bye to primary school last year. So I have a child in university, first year. And then I have a candidate this year in Form 4. And I have a Form 1.
Wow.
We just left primary last year.
All right.
I also have, I'm an administrator and accountant by profession. And by God's grace, for 9 years, I was an administrator in 2 schools. So that helps me to sit in the place where I was able to see the teachers and the parents and myself as a parent, and also just being an administrator in the school was able to see all the fields in the same seat.
Amen.
So yes, welcome, and let us just learn together.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope now you've gotten to know who we are with. We want to welcome you. There are numbers we have provided in case you have any question, in case you'd want to be helped in one or another. We have the number 011-000-8443 and 011-000-8445. 011-000-8443 and 011-000-8445. Please feel free to call. There'll be someone who'll be able to take in your questions, that may be able to see how best we can answer them and how best we can be able just to relate with you this particular morning as we discuss on this issue of homeschooling in the midst of this COVID-19 situation. Now, my first question to every one of you probably will be a very simple one. What's the first thing you should do as a parent? We are here. Now we've talked of children are at home. And yeah, many things are going on, sincerely. But you realize in the midst of all this, you can actually get lost by trying to look for money, because probably right now money is scarce. Look for food, look for rent. You're trying to sort out everything else. And this becomes a background thing. But when you realize, hey, my children are at home, I need to do something. What is the first thing I should do as a parent? By the way, I want you to talk to, we're discussing, yes, but me, I'm the kind of a parent who is always working. So you're actually today teaching me on how to do homeschooling. The next, I've been doing something at home. I don't know if I've been doing homeschooling, because you'll need to tell us again if I've been doing homeschooling. Some of us have been doing a lot of homework. I don't know if that is homeschooling. But you need to tell us, how do we do these things? So what is the first thing a parent should do? Maybe I could start with you, Grace.
Perhaps the first thing I would recommend is come to terms with the situation. Come to terms with the change that has happened now, the crisis that has, the challenge that the crisis has posed, and then now allow yourself to come up with a solution. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing. Agree with yourself that it's crisis, but I don't have to sink. I don't have to drown. Mm-hmm. Can we do this? Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. I come to terms. I'm coming to terms. Teacher Ronald.
Actually, as a parent, my panelist has said, you have to agree that this situation is with us. And not for a short time. These are like 2 months. And sometimes parents do tell me, I don't know what to do with the children. But I always tell them, there's a lot you can do with your children in the house. So, parents, there's a lot you can do with your children at home. As a teacher, as a parent, I know is so much you can engage those children. And by the end of the day, these children have learned so much, not only work in school, but also life skills. They have engaged themselves to learning other things while at home. And that is what I've been doing for the last 1 month with my children. I've engaged them throughout. And no single day, my children will never tell you that they have nothing to do. And even they lack time to watch cartoons. So there's a lot you can do. Because I know some parents will say, I engage my children through watching cartoons only. Because they believe that is the best thing they can do to their children. And that is what they love. Children don't love watching cartoons. Just engage them and you'll find they have a lot to do.
Wow.
Thank you.
So that means the first thing I've got to agree is that there must be something I can do with these children. You know,
a lot.
A lot of things I can do with them.
Yes.
It's not like when they go to school, I'm free. So I don't have anything to do. But now that they're home, I must agree. First, to come to terms, situations are the way they are. Yes. Secondly, there's something I can do with these children. Exactly. Yes, Gloria. What's the first thing do you think you'd advise us?
For me, I know that we need to reorganize ourselves. I will not repeat what they've said because that's also what you need to do. Reorganize yourself and know that things cannot run as usual, like what you are doing before. You need to reorganize yourself and accommodate the children now because they're in the house and get to know. Reorganize yourself, plan again. You know, like if you had time to do other things, you may need to like move some things on the side and make sure you get the time to be able to get the time to do what you need to do with the children. So you have to reorganize yourself because the situation is as it is, and these children are here and you can't wish them away. And you know, like for me who has a candidate, I also have to sit down and know where are they at the moment. You see, like look at the child, get to understand where they are at, hoping that we were also following up on them even when they were in the schools, that you know this is where they are and this is where I can pick up from. So know where the children are and know where you can start with them. Yeah, and from there just reorganize yourself around, you know, what is normal around you and get to know what you can do.
Wow, I'm thinking what you're saying and I'm thinking, okay, I think God put us on a catch-2 situation whereby some of us are like, this is not my thing, I pay someone to do it. But now, they're here with us, so this is my thing. In actual sense, we tend to believe schooling started at home, which most of us, I think, tend to assume is not the right thing. But I think that's where we are being taken back to. Schooling begins at home. So even now when they are away from school, it is our responsibility to work on them. Wow, that's a good one. But as we organize ourselves, as we accept, as we come to terms with the fact that we can do many things, as we come to organize ourselves, I think there are many things that probably I'd ask this to Teacher Ronald, who is a teacher currently. I'm coming to terms that there are many things I can do. I learned in a different system. My kids are in a different system probably. Is it going to be that easy for me just to come in and start doing whatever they do? Because let me be sincere. The other day, my kid came from school. I'm like, A, B, C, D. And like, book. I'm like, okay. So how do we start with all this? Because I don't think you just jump in, you know. How do you start with all this? Because I know she said you go to organize yourself, but how do you start it?
As a parent, I'm doing it practically. Every evening, I give, children have to give me an account of what they have done throughout the day. And the first thing I tell them to write down in the morning what they intend to do in the course of the day. They have so many things they'll have to write. They'll write for me, they're going to read, they're going to do so many things. So I tell them, okay, now by the end of the day, just tell me when we'll be sitting down as a family, I'll be able to read what you did throughout. And they'll be able to tell me, I did beadwork, I read a Bible, I did exercises, I washed utensils. Without even my supervision, they do those things. And they'll tell you they did not even have time to watch cartoons. Because the reason why I say them, we always engage each other, telling them, you know what, you need to do those things that can be of help. Because in this world, there is nobody or in school who has ever been awarded for watching cartoons or was awarded by explaining the movie about a certain cartoon? No one. But somebody was awarded for having a certain skill. And those skills are the things you need to do them every day until they be part of your system. So we engage from morning. And they do those things without even my supervision. And they do those things even without. And sometimes as a teacher, I do help so many parents. Because I'm a teacher, I help other parents to engage their children. So by the end of the day, I'm on my side as a parent, I've done well to my children. I've also helped my work as a teacher. So I believe parents cannot tell me. Sometimes parents do call me, teacher, I don't know what to do with these children. By the end of the day, try to talk to them. And in my house, I tell them, I've given a certain motivation that by the end of the day, I'll give you a 20 shilling.
Wow.
Maybe that 20 shilling will pile. By the end of the month, I'll give you, if it is 300 shillings, then you'll find what to do with that money. So every day.
Motivation.
When we started with 5 activities. I found, wow, you need to exceed my expectation. So they were doing 7. Wow, I realized 5 were little. Now I've started awarding 10 activities. If you do 10 activities in a day, I give you 20 shillings. If you do 9, I give you 19 shillings. If you do 5, I give you 15 shillings. So by the end of the day, if you do nothing, I don't give you anything. And they struggle. So they wake up in the morning, don't clean my room, please, I'll clean it. Today I'm going to wash utensils. Today I have to read. Today I have to exercise. All those.
Okay.
They know that is what they are supposed to do. By the end
Okay.
of the day, they are going to be awarded. And everybody, when awarded, they get so much impressed and come up with those skills.
They're highly motivated.
They're highly motivated.
All right. Grace, I'm here. I'm here. You see, I'm here with you now.
Yes.
I need to go back and do homeschooling. Where do I start?
Well, I like what Gloria said. You need to reorganize yourself. And the things that Mr. Ronald is talking about, now they form that structure, that reorganization. So the first thing you will need to do is to come up with, I like to call it, a flexible schedule. Why? Because everything must be done in order, and everything must be done in decency, and that's in Scripture. So you probably have your own work, probably on Zoom meetings as well. You probably have targets from your boss, from your team as well. But so will these children need targets and goals, just like Mr. Ronald has talked about setting goals. So if you have children like in the age group of Gloria, then you sit together and come up with a flexible schedule. But if your children are young, well, you can work with those who can reason. But if they are young, then you come up with a schedule that suits them, suits your home, and suits the needs of your home. During this season, there may be homes without helps at home. So what do you do all the cooking, all the laundry? If you have children the age of Gloria's children, then you involve them, you see? And then the little children, what can they do? And in between that entire schedule, it's an AM to PM schedule, wake time to bedtime. There is academic work. Somewhere in there, there's academic work. And it shouldn't be the kind of, demand that makes you pull your hair, but just small academic goals. Just like if this one will wash dishes, then let's do math today. let's cover math today, we can do English tomorrow. And that way you're not frustrated that schoolwork is not happening, that you're not satisfied that education is not happening at home, together with the other stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like the way you've put that. If you have kids, you need to, because I remember we put a schedule for our son. We told him, the older one,
Yeah.
you wake up, you read your Bible, you pray
Yes.
before you start doing anything else. So he would wake up and actually pick his Bible to go and read and then pray. And then the younger one would wake up, and since that was not his instruction, he would go for the remote straight. And this is what he'd tell his brother. Read your Bible, pray every day. Pray. Him is watching TV. You got to discover, no, we can't allow that to happen, because now this other one feels it's not fair.
That's
so
true.
we just have to take away the remote from them. And so we are taking away the remote from them currently. So that none of them touches the remote until certain things are done. And that's just an interesting one. Gloria, what did you tell us about, what's the first thing you want me to know? You know me, I'm learning from all of you. And there are many others watching us also who are learning from you.
Okay, so I mentioned the fact that, children are different, and you need to know where to start with each child. And you need to know where they are at, what level are they at. And then that informs the plan that you have, because now you have reorganized yourself. Now, this child, like for me who was a child in university, you need to do very little. You may not have to do as much as you need to do for a child who's in kindergarten or primary school. But for them, like as she said, if you have children who are older, you need to sit down with them and have them help you come up with a schedule or a plan or a timetable. Let's call it just as we call it in this nation, that come up with a timetable. Like you can have a timetable separate for the house chores and a separate timetable for their schoolwork, which will not be as intense as the one they have in the school. Because now for school, it's 8 to 3:45, something like that, and with small breaks in between. But for yours will be a bit different. Even waking times will be different. So you just need to first know, where is your child? Where do you start with them? What levels are they in? And then from there, then you can come up with that schedule, and then now set goals, and then have motivations. Like as he says, you need to know how to motivate them to actually want to do whatever it is they want to do. And again, you will need to still be to put the boundaries that have to be there. Like you're saying, if the TV is not switched on from morning until something like 3 o'clock, that is a boundary. That is something that has to be followed by everyone, so that then the plan that you have is working. Otherwise, you have a plan, and then if you relax on it as a parent, then at the end of the week, if you look back, you will not be able to see what you've achieved in that time.
Oh, good. Thank you. I'm just thinking, because you talk about homeschooling. And nowadays, like Teacher Ronald will tell you, when they open school, we bring all the books to school. All the textbooks and exercise books come to school. Now, suddenly, we are told kids are at home. And, we are at home with them. So then they sent us homework, this plus this or this, and they do this question. Is that doing homework homeschooling?
Okay. Actually, my understanding is actually you balance academic work, because it's all about equipping these children. It's all about just books. But you need to allocate some time for the children to actually do academic work. And this one is actually well done if it comes from them, not you forcing, because they'll tell you, Mom told me or Dad told me to do this, and so I'm doing. You should create an environment that it is coming from them, not you imposing the things. They'll rebel. And what we have been discussing with my children every day, and sometimes I mark their work, it's so constructive in a way that by the end of the day, because of late they have been telling me what we have learned for the last 1 month. When we opened, we would love even to join the choir because they have learned a new song. They have at least known how to play a guitar, they didn't know. In fact, what I have discovered, when these children are engaged and you just leave them to do, you control by saying that this is a bad habit or this is a good habit. When you just tell them, these children are very creative, all the way from the grade 3 or the small ones. They are very creative, even than you adult. The grade 6, the form 1. I have a sibling who is going to university. She tells me she's going to do a pharmacist. I tell her, can you find out what are you going to do in that area? Can you keep yourself when you go to the university? That is part, because now she thinks now I've done everything, and now I don't need to go into the books. I don't know what is in the university. I tell her, no, there are so many things you can do. She has known, she just came from up countries, and we are with her. For the few days we are with her, she has known how to. When they say that we want somebody who can do something else, you are there because you can do. And I have discouraged them from just saying that so-and-so is talented. You are not talented. You need to activate some of those skills. Let those skills be part of you. Learn them, because all skills are learnable. There's nothing like, oh, I need to be talented. You need to learn every skill.
Okay.
And those things, they add up as homeschooling, or as part of the school.
Okay.
Because it's about academic, or it's about activities you do at home to equip them as to be upright children when they grow up.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Grace, I'm here. Thank you, Teacher Ronald. But I'm here. I want to do homeschooling. Do I need to look for textbooks, or do I just need to take the homework? Do I need to look at the textbooks, or do I just need to take the homework? You know, I'm green, so I'm asking.
Now, I'm not sure if children were given, well, it was announced while they were at home, so they never really got to go back probably for their textbooks and exercise books. But last week when we were here on set, Teacher Eunice shared the various platforms where children can join with the help of the parents to continue learning on the KICD platforms. So that's one. Okay, so tune in either radio or TV.
Okay.
2, if you have your textbooks with you at home, well, then you're advantaged. So perhaps you could begin by reviewing where you left off with your child. Help your child review where they left off. They should probably have a clue if they have the textbook. And start from, so that they don't feel threatened about the whole thing. And like we said last week, you may not know some things, chemistry, physics, or whatever, Kiswahili. Yeah, so what do? Call someone, or Mr. Google, log in and find help, either by calling someone or Google for help. So that's one. Now, if you don't have textbooks, and now you're stuck, kabisa, call someone. Call your teacher. And this is something we said last week about being your teacher's friend, and not making them an enemy. Excuse me. So call your teacher, find out what you can do. Probably a week, get a week's goals of work to do. Now, if it's not still possible, then call a fellow parent, probably who has textbooks at home, you know, we're still connected somehow on phone. We may be keeping the social distance, not visiting each other, but it doesn't stop you from calling.
Yeah.
And find out what is the next topic after this. Now, if you just know the topic, just go on the internet and find out what to train this child at this age in this topic.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Oh,
That
great.
may be of help.
Oh, that enlightens a lot. I think as you were talking, I remember yesterday I got a text from, I don't remember, KI something.
KICD, yes.
Yes, I think something like that, telling me on what platforms I can go to. In as much as we have other things going, of course we have school giving us homework. Gloria, you have high schoolers. What are you doing with them now that they're at home? Are you homeschooling with them? Have you taken their textbooks? Are you doing calculus? Just asking.
Okay. For me, I was lucky to, all of them are in boarding, rather they stay in the school where they go to school. So they came back with their books and their textbooks. And what we had to do is to first know where they are, because last term, for most schools was a term for us. There's a week we had to go to school and get to know about the academics of the child. So somehow you're able to know where this child particularly is. And then now what I'm doing with them is just to have them list down some of the topics that are a problem for them, like the ones that like maybe they are struggling in, or the topics that they need some help in. And what is also good about me is that, you see now there's a Form 4 and there's a Form 1. The Form 4 can help the Form 1 with what the Form 1 cannot do. Okay. And the one in university can help the one in Form 4. Fine, I am also coming in to help and do what I can. But you see now, because they're in the system, like my daughter was there in 2018. And actually, when she cleared, she was actually recalled back to school. There's something that they're doing. The kids who have like cleared and were able to do well in certain subjects were called back to school to go and help the other kids. That's peer. They call it peer. I think they just help their others. I think it's easier for them to learn from kids who are like closer to their age than now the teacher themselves, maybe because they fear the teachers for some reason.
And they used to relate to them also.
Yes,
on a daily
it's
basis,
easier to relate with them. So now for me, I've reorganized in a way that they are sitting like in the same space. They're able to discuss a certain subject that maybe one person is good at. Now, another thing that I've also have to come to terms with is that these kids are different. There's one child who's actually good in Kiswahili and another one struggles in it. So this one who's good in Kiswahili actually helps the other one who is not good in Kiswahili. And I also just sit there. Like for me, most of the time I do my BSF homework. But I'm just seated there, and sometimes I'm able to see, are you able to like assist in this particular topic? Yes, this one nilishika vizuri. Like we're discussing like the parts like for physics for my daughter. It was easier for her to do the electricals, the whatever the topics that were there with the electricals. And my son was actually having an issue with that. And she helped. So that's what basically I'm trying to do in a nutshell, among many other things, because for them, they can also use past papers, past papers from other schools.
Okay.
And because like my son is in a different school, my daughter was in a different school, so like if they exchange the past papers or even get others from other schools, that is also helping them to get to know how to tackle different questions set differently.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me stick with you a little bit. Just ask you this. Now that you said it so well, you've articulated it very well. If we come into your house right now, will you get a timetable or there's a schedule that you've actually put down?
Yes, there's a schedule.
There's a schedule?
Yes, there's a chores schedule, a schedule for their chores that they do. And there's also a schedule for devotions.
Wow.
Like there's someone who's in charge of the devotions for one day. And there's also a schedule for their work. Personal schedules, like the Form 1 has her own timetable, the Form 4 has his timetable. Because, the Form 4, basically, we are giving more time for him. And also there are those other personal timetables that are not like common for all of them. Because like one last time when Grace was here, she said that kids are different and also they learn differently at different times. So like for my children, my son is an early riser. He's able to read early in the morning. My daughter reads even into the night, even 2 o'clock. So there are those schedules that we have that are common, and there's also someone's schedule, yake personal, that they do at their time when it's easier for them to do. Because now they are more grown up. They are not
Okay.
like the kids that you have to like sit and plan for them.
Okay,
Yes.
let me come to Teacher Ronald. I've heard you talk about how much you motivate your kids and how much you tell them that they've got to give you timing or rather what they'll do. They have a write-up for you on what they will do. Do you have a schedule for them? Is there a time when this write-up is, these things that they're supposed to do, are they supposed to be done within a certain period of time, or they can do it even into the midnight or whatever?
No, actually you must have a schedule. For example, academic activity. If you leave each one of them to do their activities, the other one will interrupt the other, especially when it comes to academic. Just say from 10 to 1, we'll do academic activities. The rest, you'll continue if you are to do the rest of the work. Continue. So you'll pick. Everybody will pick. This is what I'm going to do. This is, I've not cleaned my clothes. I've not cleaned my room. But from morning, some of them, they'll start doing what they're supposed to do. Because if they don't spend their time well, they might be caught up not doing all the activities.
Okay.
And we discussed with them, telling them it is important for you to have a certain schedule. And we don't actually, when it is time to sleep, we just say that this is time to go to sleep for everybody. Because it will be very disastrous that we are leaving others sleeping, others disturbing, others doing ABCD. So if it's time to sleep, we go and sleep together. At waking up, some will wake up different times, but when you wake up, you know what you're supposed to do. But from 10 to 1, that is
Academics.
academic work.
Wow.
From 2, after lunch, because they'll prepare their own lunch, from 2 to either 4 or 5 there, they are doing other activities. The activities they love doing.
Okay.
The activities that is coming from their heart, like drawing. They want to draw. They want to do the best drawing. Beadwork. Beadwork they do in the evening. You rarely find them even watching, especially TV in the evening. They want to complete the work. So there is a kind of schedule that we have created, but not throughout the day. And I find that one working for them.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, thank you. Grace. Just probably someone is listening to us. And if you have a question, please just feel welcome to ask the numbers we've provided for you. You can just call those numbers. We will still receive your questions that we may be able to answer you in any way possible. We'll get to some questions also as we get on. But let me ask Grace, just a parent is watching, or someone is seated there watching us and listening to us, and you've done homeschooling. Give us a structure. Someone say like, you know what, I'd like to do this. You give us a structure. I know you've done homeschooling. This is what you do. It's not like COVID made you do it, you know. Some of us, COVID is making us do it, but this is what you do. Would you give us a structure for homeschooling?
So what's interesting, we had a structure pre-COVID, and we have a new structure now.
Wow.
Let me explain why. We are contained in the house. We are hardly going out for walks. Now, we live in a gated community, but even in our gated community, we have rules now. So we shouldn't all find ourselves outside at the same time like we used to pre-COVID. So what we realized that if we went on having our children sleep by 8, we say 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock was bedtime. But we had to change that because now they wake up in the morning and then we have this whole day. We have studies, we do dishes. Now, remember, there are 5 children. And it's not like we live in a farm where there are eggs to collect, there's a shamba, you know. We're in the city. Now, we thank God, our help agreed to live in. She used to come and go, but she agreed to live in. So we still, pursuing those life skills, even if she's part of helping to train the children. So we had to come up with a different schedule so that we have the children like sleep in and have a morning that's easy, and then we begin the chores, and our day picks up pole pole. So what's our day like now? We breakfast is at 9:30, so wake time is now at 8. So you wake up at 8. By then, breakfast, we either do it together or it's already done. But breakfast is at 9:30 now. So then we clean up. Then we go into, we say lao in our house, light, air, and order. Light, air, and order your room. So then you prepare yourself for the day. There are those who have breakfast morning dishes. And this week, our 10-year-old is on duty in the kitchen, cooking. And then she will get into her schoolwork after that. So what we've done in our home is, you see, at some point in life as an adult, you have to eat. So, school will not be put to hold so that you can eat. You have to combine both. So this week she's on duty. Next week, our 8-year-old son will be on duty in the kitchen for cooking. Then our 6-year-old, cutting, washing, stirring, fully under supervision. So everyone will get into their academic space. It's now at 2:30 because we were eating and eating and eating and eating. But now that we have moved meal time, we are not having those in-between snacks that were really using up lots of money. So then those who have schoolwork will go on in the afternoon while the little ones take a nap, so the TV is off. And then now, when you're done, you're done. If you want to carry on, it's fine. But by 4:30, we should be done. Then now we can have a little bit of TV because we have 2 younger ones at home. And at some point we have shower time, and then there's someone to serve dinner. So that's our flexible schedule.
Structure.
Yeah.
And that has worked for you over the years. But I'd like to ask Gloria, probably even as we come to Ronald, just a simple, quick question. What would you tell a parent based on, okay, we have COVID right now, they found themselves at home, and the children are there at home, the children need to go on with the schooling. What would you tell a parent if I just give you an opportunity, just talk to a parent and tell them, you know one thing, or you met a parent who's just sat at home, what advice would you give them?
Wow. The first thing I would tell that parent is that they are able to do it. It just has to start with you knowing that you can do it, without thinking that you really need, you need to do a miracle. No, you have what it takes because you're a parent. And again, another thing that I would say, rely on the Lord. Just rely, every morning, every time you wake up, rely, like for me, I've relied on God where parenting is concerned, because there are different challenges in different homes, different things you have to handle every other day. You see, so just rely on God for wisdom to know what to do when situations come in. But one thing that parents must know is that you are able to do it. You don't need to beat yourself, because it's something you've been doing. It's just that maybe this time that the hours are more, but I think these are just things we were doing prior to this COVID, and we will continue to do them even after this pandemic is over. So just get to understand what you've been doing right. Bishop said the COVID is just revealing what kind of house we have been building.
Exactly.
So there are things maybe you made a mistake about. Don't beat yourself. Just learn from that and then pick up from there. Number two, know that this is a season. It is something that's coming to pass. Also, do not kill yourself. Get to understand what it is you can do even going forwards. That if there are things you need to change, if there are things you need to reorganize yourself about going forwards now for your children, you need to do them. I said earlier that I was able to sit as an administrator in a school, being a parent, going with my children to that same school, being able to get first-hand information from the teachers, what the struggles they were going through. And I will tell you that a parent, so long as you have one parent who's consistent and is there at all time, this child is able to learn and learn well.
Okay.
And again, just know that get the best do your best, and again, strive to get the best out of this child. And your best, the best may not be the best for someone else. The best for this child is just the purposes that God placed in them and what they can do.
Okay.
So long as you get the best. Like for me, my children know I say, your best is good enough for me. So if you can give me your best, I am good. So just strive to ensure that you get the best out of your children without beating yourself and knowing that you can do it. And if there's anywhere you've not like been able to do very well because like there are parents who were not able to follow up on the academics of their children in the schools when they were in the school. So right now it's like difficult for them to know where to start. Now going forward, start to involve yourself more, or at least have one parent who is more involved in what the child is doing at the school. Because me, I'm an 844 parent. I'm not a homeschooler like my sister Grace, who is with the children throughout the day. So get to know what the child is doing so that even when you have to pick up from there, you're able to know how to go about it.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, thank you. Mwalimu Ronald, you're dealing with teachers. You're dealing with parents. And I'm sure you've had so many questions being asked. Some of them spelling doom and like, I don't think I can do this. Someone is watching us right now. I'd want you to speak to them and address them just to help them to be able to pick it up from within them and that they can be able to do this. Because a number of parents think teaching is for teachers. You know, me, I can't do this. Mimi, hii puzenyi siwezi. Kwani ushiki, kwani uko na uji kwa kichwa. You know, some of them think, what would you advise these parents? You know, so that they can be able just to also realize that the teaching effect, rather the teaching virtue is in them. You know, is there anything you can just advise parents?
Actually, parents, it all starts with your mind. And I've discovered that you can do so many things when you change something in your mind that I can do it. If you don't, if you feel that this work is for the teachers, then that work becomes too difficult. And when the teacher sends some work and you feel this work, it's just for the teachers. I just need to engage teachers. Of course, I've been receiving calls from the parents. But it all starts with your mind. You just twist your mind a bit and say that I am going to do it. I'm going to find a way of engaging my children. Good enough, especially me as a teacher, I've tried to engage all our parents, all our children in a school, all the way from playgroup. They are all doing some activities, and we have created a schedule for them. And we have been receiving so much from the parents that actually this one is helping us. We didn't know that. And as the teachers, we have also come up with ways of reaching out to our children. We have been able to make clips on topics. We've been able to send. In fact, like when parents are saying, oh, we don't know what to do, like our class 8 candidates, we've done 2 exams online. They have brought their marks, have done it. The rest of the classes, we've done exams all through. And the parents are really saying, this work is very good. It's actually, the children are liking it. In fact, they love it. So I'm saying that it's not saying it's too hard. We can make it change your mindset and realize that these things, you can do it. And even better than a teacher. Because all these skills, you learn them. And it's just a way of how can I reach my child? How can I reach my weak child? And I told all the parents that there's nothing like a weak child. Just keep on practicing that one element. One element several times. Children will be able to get. But when you just give up and say, hey, my child was in terms of position, was number last in class, I don't know what to do. No, engage them. Give them little work. 5 questions every day, little. And of course, during this time, I've done an experiment with my children. I've told them, if you are given 5 million shillings at a go pap for 1 month, which one will you take? And if I give you 1 shilling today, and then that shilling doubles every day, for 30 days. I tell, go and do and find out which one you're going to take. And they tell me, wow, when you're given 1 shilling and it doubles every day, you likely by 31st day or 30th day, you have more money in terms of millions than that person who was given 5,000 shillings. The same thing applies. The 5,000 shillings that, or 5 million shillings that was given, it's like a teacher giving you, and then you stopped. But if I start 1 question every day, 2 questions, today, tomorrow, consistently, this child will be able to get. So parents, I want to encourage you. Engage those children. You realize what you thought they don't know, they know so much. And they are even beating the best in school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. Now, parents, you get to understand that you've got to be involved. This one, there's no handing it over to someone else to do it. It's just, you've got to draw it from within you. I'm just remembering the other day, I had to go and buy manila paper. And out of this manila paper, I had to draw the multiplication tables, so that you can do it with my son. And I was telling my wife how we did it when I was in primary school, and she was like, this is not those days, so I've got to learn how they do it. It's something new how they do it today, but at least I'm trying to engage him in that area. I'm trying to be a teacher in one way or another, and it's quite interesting. Just thinking about it, all in all, and I'm listening to you talk, there's a lot about parents having to create time to engage. One, we love the part whereby we teach them to make their beds and clean up their house, because that involves all of us. But there's this other part whereby, we are homeschooling. It's not just about the beds and making food and everything, but there's the academic part of it, which most of us, in actual sense, sincerely, had given up that to the teachers. But now we have our children home. We have got to get involved in it. I'm saying this because I remember there's a day we were doing some homework. My wife was doing homework. I wasn't. My wife was doing homework with our son, and it was Kiswahili. And then they asked me. To be very sincere, I didn't even know the answer. Is it Jake, Lake, Mark? I don't know. I just told them, I don't know, And so, but that tells me that I've got to be involved in it, because one of these days, this guy may come back home, the mother may have traveled, or the mother may not be home, and the homework is Kiswahili. And he has to do it before he goes back to school the next day, or over the weekend before he goes back on Monday. So I have got to get involved and go back to my Ngelis and get to know them, all those Muwa or V. I don't even remember them right now. I need to go back and learn them. And I think that's what you guys are trying to tell us here, that you've got to go back and also draw. You may not know it all, but as you engage with it, you'll remember something. Something will rub and begin to shine. That rusty part will begin to shine again. And so I tend to believe, parents, let's get involved in this part. Let's make and I believe it's not only for COVID-19 season. Once we begin to engage with this, I believe it will take us beyond COVID-19. I believe that once we begin to develop this interest to spend time in the books with our children and training them on various other things, this is going to change the way we bring up our children. It's going to change the way we do other things. So I do believe let's get involved, parents. Let's go into it. I have a question. I have a question for Gloria. How about the ones in campus? And the lectures are quite on the learning continuity. How do you deal with that?
You see, the good thing about when a child is now in university, your involvement is a bit less, compared to now my Form 1 or my Form 4. She has, they have portals, something like that. So in the school, they'll be told on a certain day there will be cards. They also have assignments that they have to do, and so she needs to organize herself around those things that she has to do, depending on what their university is actually doing at a certain time. So, of course, I get involved because maybe I'd need to ensure that she's online. I also have to ensure, like, sometimes if there are things that I need to help, like even in those questions, or just to sit there and discuss with her, so that she's able to, like, even, bring it to terms for herself. But most of the time, she just needs to know the schedule for the school, and set even her alarm to know that she has exams. She has a cut at a certain time because they're just doing them online. They're given like 15 minutes. So they have questions like for 15 minutes, 15 questions. So you just go, you log in and you do the exams, and you send them, and then you get your results to know whether you've passed or not.
Okay.
And that's why I was telling you, as much as there are schedules in the house that are the same, like when house chores are done and other things, it has to be flexible. Because now we have chores between 8 and 10, and she has a cut at 9. We have to reorganize
have to adjust
for that
that,
morning.
yeah.
So she has to just go and sit. And in a way that for me, I had to have a separate place from the usual, like, place that where everybody is. You see, like, the house help is sweeping here, she's mopping here, and the kids are in the same place. So we had to organize a separate place where, when you go to this place, it's like quiet. There's nobody pita and so on, so you can be able to sit down and actually concentrate on what you want to do.
Okay.
As much as like when Mwalimu was saying the schedule, some people cannot sleep. For us, there are people who will wake up when others are sleeping because of what they have to do at that particular time. So for the one in the university, it's I'm involved, but not as much as I'm involved in the younger one who's in Form 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Grace, I know you've done homeschooling, and in this age where we're in, there are gadgets the kids tend to have here and there, and they're so conversant. You give them a phone now. By the time you discover what they've done, some of them have changed. If they can even change your PIN, and they've downloaded stuff in there. They even got your what do you call it? Your checking in, whatever. So they know everything about the phone nowadays, and so many of them are spending so much time on their phones. How do you bring that discipline? How do you help them so that they can be able to study? I mean, so that they can, without fighting. In our days, our parents were high-handed.
Yes. Yes.
I have said. Today you tell a kid, by the way, you need to put that gadget down, do your studies, they'll ask you why. So, and for us, if you ask that,
Yes.
you know what?
Something landed on you.
Yeah, something landed on you. You'll be discovering the reality later.
Yes.
But so how do we engage our kids today? Because I think that's not the way to go. The way we were brought up is not the way to go.
Yes.
Because we need to find a way we can engage with them so that they can be able to understand your study is important, but this also can come in. We don't refuse it.
Now, to answer this question, something you spoke before Gloria said, and basically, we are coming into a season of lifestyle change, a new lifestyle. And that's what you alluded to. And Gloria talked about parents who have not been in touch with their children, perhaps their schooling, and even other areas of their lives. But now, in this season, there's no option. And one thing Gloria has said that's fantastic, really, there is no condemnation. It shouldn't come from you. You shouldn't condemn yourself. and you shouldn't receive condemnation from others. Now, probably it's possible that one of the wrongs you're seeing that you did previously was to allow gadgets to just be used all day, anyhow, anytime, without limits, and you didn't set rules, and you didn't explain, and children felt they have a right to this thing. And they felt they have a right to question. So now, during this lifestyle change, you sit down with your children and you explain. Now, if we continue in this manner, as we were before, explain what the consequences might be like. In some cases, don't explain, explore. If you have children that are probably 10 plus, explore the consequences. And that's what my husband does with our children. He explores with the 6-year-old, 8 and 10. We explore the consequences. What could happen if daddy is on the laptop all day watching movies? He won't get his work done. Okay, so if he doesn't get his work done, then what happens? He won't be paid. What happens if he's not paid? We won't have food. Help them arrive at the consequences and help them realize, I know it has been this way previously, but would we rather remain that way or would we rather change? And after you've come to a good discussion with them, and make sure you arrive there, now tell them, so now this is what I think is best for us to do. Because you're children and you're likely to be tempted to pick up your gadgets, I will be the custodian of your gadgets. Now, when work is done, when certain goals are met, and when certain things are in place, then we can agree, you can have your gadget for this amount of time, for this purpose, and if I need to explore and if I need to see where you are at, what you are doing, it's okay because I'm your parent. This is my role in your life. Explain without, like you said how it was before, because it's not the
I've
era.
said it.
Yes.
The king has said it, do it. No, ask questions once you're done.
Yes, So first you do, then you ask questions. No, explain it and let them understand it. Let them go through the process. By the time you keep the gadgets, they understand. And at first, it won't be comfortable. No discipline is comfortable at the time. But at first, it won't be comfortable. But do it today, do it tomorrow, do it at the 5th day, do it for 7 days, and establish a new routine. That gadgets are for this time. The TV is also a gadget. Even for a 3-year-old and 4-year-old, that's their gadget. Our children don't have phones yet. I don't deny in other homes it happens. So this is now parenting 101.
Yeah.
You take the lead and you explain and you influence in a manner that they follow you comfortably.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, thank you for that. Wow, that's quite an eye-opener. You don't have an handedness, but you engage them, you discuss with them, you walk with them through it until you come to an agreement with them. Negotiation. Okay, our homes are not negotiating areas, but we've got to learn this new trick. Mwalimu Ronald, I have a special kid. How do I do this homeschooling with this special kid?
Okay, it's actually, we have different children in our homes. And as a parent, first of all, we have parents who really deny that they have special children in their homes. First of all, for you to solve anything, you have to admit, this is the situation that I'm in. I have a special child. How can I engage this special child? What is their interest? How can I help them? So at least, as a parent, you have some space you can engage them because you know them. Don't just leave them. And finding ways of engaging them, you can actually get to people who have the same situation rather than just being in your own group environment, thinking that the world is in miniature. Not at all. Get to the people. We have people who have raised special cases to be world-class people. And that is what should be your objective, raising this child to be a world class or a child who is accepted in the community. How can I teach this child? Find a way. Where is her interest or his interest? If you find those areas or you can get those areas, then you are good to go. Don't be tired. Don't throw hands on your children that I have this. That is a special gift to you. And all through, parents, you can do so much. And you can do so much and you find you have achieved so much with this special child than that child of who feels that he's actually normal. He has everything. So there's so much you can do. Engage them and try to help them find their areas of interest, strengthen those.
In this time, you may not have the skills, but because you engage with others, they may give you tidbits on how to bring up this child and just engage them and educate them in this season before they go back to their classes, go back to school in this season. I want to ask Gloria, you have a home. How do you create it to become an environment for study? It has become this, it used to be this place where people come holiday, then people are gone. But now how do you create it to become a place for study?
Bit high and chairs around that, and people just sit on the table and are able to put their books there and read. Other than having people reading from the bed, like sometimes you'll have a child just andika notes on the bed. No, you can't like have that. So you have to organize yourself in a way that the place where these children are going to sit down, it's an environment that can cause them to concentrate on what they need to do, because that way then they'll be able to grasp as much as they can. I know there are people who will go to other extents of actually even having, depending on the space they have, just to set a room aside for studies. Wow. Where the children can actually sit and read. Okay. For me, I was able to do that, just to have a room, and outside, inside, like it's a space where we are going, we have our tables, you have your books there, you have everything that you're learning from there. So after you finished your house chores, you would actually just walk in there and know, now here it is work. Okay. And it's quiet. It's a place where there's no much activity, like if someone is knocking the gate, you can actually hear and you're distracted to wanting to do that. So if it is possible for you to get a separate room where the kids can actually sit, where there's minimum interference in what they are doing, then you can do that. But if you have little space, then still with the little space that you have, you can just set a corner or somewhere that you can put a table. You may have to like spend something to just get a table where the kids can sit and do what they need to do. So they're not doing it on their knees, on the carpet, or on the bed, and things are all over.
Okay, so as you're about to close, I think as you're saying it, you have got just to shift something a bit, so that they know there's a change in this place. This is how we do. This is what we do here. I remember when COVID began, and we were told now you'll have to be at home. Quarantine and this curfew thing. I was telling guys yesterday, I think, so that one of the things I did was I went and rearranged the house. I don't do that. My wife does the arranging of the house. But I rearranged the house for me to create a corner for myself, so that when I get to the house, in the hours, like for instance, I'm living here now. Once I leave this, I'm done here, I'll be going back home because I'm not on duty. I go back home. There's a corner where I'll sit and I'll know that I'm working from this corner. It's not the normal arrangement of the house. So I've created this place. So the same thing you do is you create a place so that people when they look at that spot, they know this is what happens here. Wow, okay. So and I hope that works for you, parents. It may be your room is not so big, but just turn something small. Clear some tables somewhere, create a place somewhere where they can, when they know that when you're seated here, we're doing our studies, it begins to create, it changes their mind, yes? It changes their perception and everything else. So I thank you for that, Gloria. Mwalimu Ronald, I'm so sure there's a question right there on the screen. I don't know if you can help us. I know Grace can also help us on this one. Where can we access online materials to help our children learn as we come to a close?
Actually, there are so many online materials. They are just all over. First of all, of course, right now, the way we have seen, and anybody with the WhatsApp, let me just say that, I'm sure people sending materials online. We have KICD, have materials.
KICD?
Yes. We have Edu channel. We'll get some information about school or lessons they are teaching. And TV programs, KBC, you'll get them all through. And I always say that you can get what you want, and we have done that. And if we don't know anything, on the YouTube, you just say class 6 topic. You'll find somebody teaching and explaining everything. So within you, there is everything that you want if you just get to want to know how to get them.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. So there's so much material out there online. You said KICD?
Yes.
KICD, I think that's the one I got yesterday. And please go to KICD. There's one that the government, that's the one the government has given, right?
Yeah.
Including the other things. If you go online, you can just ask. I'm sure you'll be able to get them. If you ask the schools, they should be able to help you. Get more information on that. I do believe there are quite a number of platforms where you can get information on how to help your child and give them the education they need at this time. There's a parent who's asking, what do you do if you have noticed that out of the assignments given, there is a subject a kid always runs away from? For instance, if it was me, if it was Kiswahili, you'd be sure I'll be running away. So let's maybe any one of you who's willing to answer that.
It may be possible that if you're a couple, your spouse may, be able to handle that subject. So during this season, you're not a homeschooler, that the mom is the homeschooler now, or the dad is the homeschooler now. It's both of you in the situation. So maybe someone else has a strength in it. Now, you may also have a relative or know a friend who has a strength in this area. Just, give them a call. If you can do a WhatsApp call, video call, or a Zoom call, whatever, just have them help your child in this area. There's a way they may be able to explain. Maybe you don't have the language for it and the grace for it. But also, if you have a child, like Gloria said, if you have a child who thrives in a certain subject, then let their sibling help them.
All right.
Yes, or a cousin.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Mwalimu, there's something to add?
Actually, the first thing, parents should have contacts of their teacher. That this area you are not efficient in it. The first thing, you call the teacher. Don't shy away from, those are the people who are actually giving education to your children. You should not shy away from them. Make sure the first day you get to school, you get the contact of the teacher. Because there are some areas, and we cannot say that you know everything as a parent. You can't know everything. Make sure you have that contact. And you have also some other people, groups, or any other person you can easily call the way they have said. That one will really help you. The first contact, I always say, it's the teacher. Because he's the one who has given that work. And he has the solutions, all the solutions. So the solutions comes from the teacher before you get to somebody else. So because we have some who have solutions, but they confuse more. So what can you do? Give the teacher who taught that child will be able to assist in a very comfortable way.
Yes, like some who give, maybe just before you answer, some who confuse more. Like the day I was asked Jake Lake, I gave an answer, and by the time they looked at me, I realized I'd confused them more.
I think if it's coming from the learner, that they have just that you need to find a way to change their attitude towards that subject. Because if it's maths, maybe it's just something they had. Hey, maths inakuanga ngumu. So it is just in their minds that maths inakuanga ngumu. But if they tried to do it, then they would. So trying to change their attitude towards that particular subject. You know your child. And you know which words you can use actually to just help them know that this subject is important for you, and just find a way and tell them you can do it. Just being able to motivate them and encourage them that they can do it. And when they are able to achieve something small, you recognize, and then they can try and do even better. And when it starts when they are younger, it's better than when now they are older and already nikituisha, it's like it has roots. So when they are younger, you can start like encouraging them. This subject, you can do it. It is easy. You see, you are able to do it. So from there, pole, they are able to see that it's not actually hard.
Wow, that's very good. As you're winding down, one of the things I'm getting is get the contact of the class teacher. That's important. But interestingly enough, there are places where the teachers are not allowed to give the parents the contacts. That's a story for another day, but at least COVID has made us realize we need to get the contacts to some of these teachers. And now probably as we just wind down and we're closing, maybe I'll start again from you as we come this way. What is your parting shot for this homeschooling issue?
For me, I will say that I thank God for the opportunity to actually just be able to mend where maybe things did not go right, and also just to be able to even get in touch or get to know our children more, and now more on the academics. And we said that academics is not just the books, or rather, the academics is the books, but education, or rather homeschooling, is not just about the academics. There are many other things.
Accepted by everybody. If you do that as a parent, you'll be actually raising this. So this situation that we are in has taught us so many things. And those things, you should be reflecting on them one by one. How have I been doing things? Is it the right way? Because now you have a lot of time. And if possible, these 2 months, you're able to develop good habits that you are able to follow throughout. So I would like to encourage parents to up their game, to raise world-class children for this generation.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mwalimu. Yes, Grace?
During this time of crisis, this is the best time to pursue, to embrace a lifestyle change. As a parent, as a guardian, to whatever age you are a parent to. And whether you are the daddy or the mommy, or whatever kind of guardian you are, this is that time. Now, what happened in the past is past. But here during this crisis, what can you do to first grow dependable children, and 2, responsible children? Because if these are not the children that cross over after this season is over, then we can use the term left behind. Left behind later will not be about they didn't do math chapter 5 or English phrases and verbs. That won't be the leftover part, what will determine leftover. But how will you help your children cross over together with you? Even for you, it's doing this life with them, and be dependable and responsible. Yes, they'll still be children, but growing into adults.
Wow.
After this season is over. This is what to pursue now, so that when the season is over, you demonstrate, your children are able to demonstrate dependability, and that they can take on responsibility. But that happens now during the crisis. Yeah.
Wow, thank you very much, Gloria, Mwalimu, Ronald, and even Grace. As you've had it, and there's a teaching that Bishop gave us and said, we are not raising happy children, we are raising responsible adults. And that challenge comes back to us, for we learn from the Bible, as it says, that train up a child in the way they should go, and when they are old, they shall not depart from it. So all this, when you're doing homeschooling and everything else, you're actually involved in their lives. And this is my take, and this is my belief, that whatever or whoever God has brought into your life, he has given you the grace and the capacity to be able to minister to them. So your children are not beyond you. Your children are not way out of your league. They are within your league. You can train them up, you can teach them, you can help them, you can actually bring up responsible adults to the glory of God. So as we continue with our homeschooling, I pray that those of you who are beginning homeschooling, you have found tips on how to go about it. Those of you who are struggling with with something here and there, at least you've been aligned in one way or another. And I do believe that at the end of it all, even as the kids go back to school or the children go back to school, you should get that number. You're going to be able to be helped. We want to thank you, each and every one of you, for joining us today. We believe that you've been blessed and you've been helped in one way or another. And as we go on, we're looking forward to tomorrow, again, as we'll be having another session on the family life. So I look forward to meeting you tomorrow, or that we look forward to meeting you tomorrow again. And we shall be blessed. Otherwise, God bless you. Have a great time, and may the hand of God be upon you, and may your children be trained up in the way they should go. You are the blessed of the Lord. Have a great day.